We don't need the meta, we make our own rules. Wit and might of a king, card game to card game. Feel our reign, the kings of games. Supreme King TCG. We'll win this game, let's do!
Hey everybody, welcome to Supreme King TCG, or welcome back. They say you need hand traps, or you'll lose to the meta. But we'll decide if that's true here and now. Because here at Supreme King TCG, we are kings, and we set the norm. It takes the might and wit of a king to beat these decks. Welcome, duelists. Today, we're unleashing the power of the Runick Eclipse Queen in this 48 card strategy that fuses the grind game of Yubel, the power of Despias, and the disruption of Runicks into one unstoppable force. We're cutting all the hand traps, putting them all into the side deck for later. This will allow us to gauge the level that we need to be going at with our opponent. You may ask, why doesn't the Supreme King TCG fear the meta? Because we are going to set the norm. Let's get into the profile. First off, we need to start with the things to get into the queen herself. 3, Samsara D Lotus. 2, Spirit of Yubel, and at least a few of the OG forms. We also run Aluber, the Jester of Despia. Every good king and queen need their Jester. We also run Fallen of Albaz. And the new support like Guiding Quem and Blazing Cartesia. We also run some of the Ecclesia cards as well. Some of the secret weapons of this deck, on the other hand, are the Lord of the Heavenly Prison. This allows us to protect our back row, as well as gives us a way to get into some of our spells and traps. We also run Super Polymerization, an uninterruptible card that can use either our Yubels or get our Brain Diffusions out. And now for the field spells. We run Runick Fountain, Nightmare Throne, and Despia, Theodore of the Branded. These 3 build the core of the field spell support for this deck. We also are going to be running 1 copy of Metaverse as another way to get into it. And you may be asking, why play all these cards that can be considered bricks? Because in the hands of this deck, a brick is more a threat than you think. Because even with the bricks in this deck, you can go into pretty damn good combos. And here is why we cut the hand traps to kind of gauge the level. With Fountain, we could play our Runick cards as if they were hand traps, as well as banish an abundance of our opponent's cards from their deck and get draw value as well by shuffling them back in. This will allow us to get more potential to go even harder, as well as having some really good effects on the Runick cards. Alright. We also run one branded opening and one branded high spirits. We also run one branded fusion. We run a couple copies of like counter traps like Curse-Sealed Forbidden Spell and branded retribution. We might add a couple of cards in there later on. I might do a little YouTube short update with the progress on the build, but let's get into the other stuff. For the trap cards, other than that, we also are running the, what's that one called? Jeez. It was called something like, let's see. Give me a moment. It's called, we run Brightest Blazing Branded King as one of the traps as well. Let's see, what is the other one? The Black Goat Laughs. We also run that at 1. Now, outside of that, our fusion monsters. We run 3 Loving Defenders, 1 Phantom of Yubel, 1 Mirror Jade, 1 Striking Dragon, a Despian Persekion, a Lubellion, the Searing Dragon. We run a couple ones that we could switch out, like Guardian Chimera and Predaplant Trifo Veritum or whatever. We run Masquerade the Blazing Dragon. That's also one you can switch out inside out. For a bit of synchro support, we run Chaos Archfiend. Obviously, we got Lubellion the Searing Dragon. We got Albion the Branded Dragon. We got the Dragon that Devours the Dogma. And Mirror Jade, obviously. The one that we're going to be switching one of these out with, the Guardian Chimera or the Predaplant, we're going to be running the Albion the Sanctifier Dragon. Alright? As for the cards that we're going to be doing for combos, let me give you a couple examples. You can combo off cards like Despian Tragedy, which could either get you into one of your Despia cards, or it can get you into a branded spell or trap. Now, as for Aluber and branded fusion, you want to try your damnedest to try and get branded lost on the field, so your Fallen of Albaz and your branded fusion can act as similarly to super polymerization as possible. We also run Branded and White, so you can banish things to fuse them off too. And as I was saying, your Runick Fountain can act as basically a pot of greed or better sometimes. It also allows you to use your Runick cards from hand, which can lead to so many cool combos. Cool for you, at least. Now, outside of that, let's mention the probability. These are more based on probability of what you would be able to get. Basically, if you don't want to have your Runick card in hand, and you happen to have a specific one in hand and Runick Fountain, activate your Runick Fountain, and then you could use that Runick card, shuffle it back in the deck, and then you could draw one more. Now, as for 2, this is what it gets into more theoretical territory. If you shuffle in 2 and then draw 2, you'll be more likely to draw into a piece that you'll need in that same turn. It would go up to roughly, depending on, let me see, since you shuffle 7, it would be like 25-ish% chance that you'd get something you really need. Now, for the 3, you'll at least get most likely you'll at least get a starter and a combo piece. That is, the likelihood is decently high for that one. Now, as for the end game, this takes advantage of a 3-piece setup, which is 1, the activation of Nightmare Pain, 2, Albion the Sanctifier Dragon being on the field, and 3, having a Yubel and Geistgrinder in your hand or graveyard. This will allow you to summon back the Geistgrinder to their field and the Yubel to yours, and having Nightmare Pain on the field can allow you to go into at least one more, and you'll probably have a couple cards in your grave that you could use to go into another Yubel fusion or something like that. The Sanctifier Dragon is on the field in order to give you a backup plan if you need it to hit them for that last 3,000 per game. Alright? And that is the Runick Eclipse Queen Yubel deck. It's a 48 card deck of pure power and control. It breaks boards, it draws cards, it dominates the grind game. If you really want a deck to make you feel like the final boss, check the full deck list in the description below. Don't forget, like, comment what kind of decks you want to see next, and subscribe to Supreme King TCG. Join the army, and remember, we don't follow the meta, we rule it. I'll see you in the next duel.
If you want to watch one of the recommended videos, go right ahead. If you want to subscribe, click the one in the middle. May the story continue. See you guys in the next video.